most environmentally friendly product is the one you didn't buy. Hi, I'm Edie, and this quote got me thinking. Why do so many of us still accept unsustainable products into our homes on a daily basis? Example, the villainized plastic item. We know they're bad for the environment, yet we are still abundantly reliant on them. I think that everyone here knows that plastic is bad for the environment when overused and not disposed of correctly, much like any non-biodegradable item. Yet plastic products are everywhere. You can't go a day without coming into contact with one. It could be something as small as a sweet wrapper at the side of the road, or as large as the bin we dispose the wrapper into. Things like the sweet wrapper are made to be single-use, while things like the bin are made to last much longer. You may not think too much about it, but that one small sweet wrapper can take over 100 years to decompose, and given that 1.74 trillion sweets are wrapped in plastic and sold every year, you can see how this becomes a global concern. So how can we reduce the amount of plastic and other non-biodegradable products we are reliant on in our everyday lives? Have you ever thought about how every piece of plastic you have ever come into contact with in your lifetime is still on Earth today? How about every piece of plastic ever created still exists on Earth today? And out of all that plastic, only 9% of it was ever produced with the ability to be recycled. Knowing this, why do we still keep surrounding ourselves with more and more plastic? And why aren't people more focused on making products that are not made of plastic? I suppose we justify it to ourselves that we need it, or that the plastic version is more affordable. Am I right? Now, I'm not saying that I am perfect, or someone who never buys plastic items, but being a student at Green School has definitely opened my eyes. In January of this year, I joined the elective working on the redesign of the Living Bridge. There were many discussions around eco-friendly and sustainable design choices, and I decided to join the group working on the lighting. Lighting is everywhere, in every home, school, office, and commercial building. We even have our gardens illuminated after dark. Research carried out in 2024 estimated that there are around 8 billion standard light bulbs in use worldwide, and that there are already billions of light bulbs buried in landfills everywhere. Electric lighting has been around since 1809, following Humphrey Davy's invention of the first electric lamp, and it has been around for another 215 years and will continue existing. But is lighting created to be sustainable, and how can it be improved? With the new skills gained from the elective, it got me thinking, how can we continue to create the necessary lighting needed in our everyday lives without asking more of the planet and leaving more behind? This is when I came up with the idea to create a lamp. You may be thinking, wow, a lamp, is that it? But the lamp is a representation of the sustainable choices we can make in our everyday lives and how the future of manufacturing needs to adapt for the greater good. I'm now going to explain how. First things first, the original lamp was donated as the original owner no longer needed or used it. The impact of this allowed me to save the lamp from ending up in a landfill where it could have leaked toxic chemicals into the earth. Secondly, I used the electrical components from the lamp, so I didn't have to waste money purchasing new materials. The impact of this is that no new wires needed to be made in order to create a working circuit, so that we did not have to take more raw materials from the planet. Thirdly, I made sure to only use sustainable materials when creating the lamp. The impact of this is so that when the lamp gets older, you can remove the internal pieces and let the base and shade biodegrade without negatively impacting the environment. And lastly and most importantly, I hope this one small lamp inspires you to think before you buy and act before you dispose. I know I'm not going to be able to stop everyone here from buying unsustainable or non-biodegradable products, but my aim is to at least inspire you to make more mindful decisions when purchasing any new product. My great-granddad was a master of sustainability without even knowing it. He would repurpose anything he could. Why? Well, not just because he was an engineer and enjoyed creating things or tinkering, but because he had 5 children, a house, and a garden full of my great-nan's animals, so had a lot of hungry mouths to feed and needed to be resourceful in order to save money. Here he is with his projector, standing proudly on his projector stand, while the audience watches his cine films while sitting in his homemade cinema seats, in his very own homemade cinema. You get the picture. He loved to make things. Now, if you go back even further, you'll see my great-great-granddad, who used to collect nails on his walk home as a coal miner. And then he would straighten them out, giving them a new lease on life. Now, if you look back over the generations, you can see that we've gone from being resourceful to being over-consumers, which obviously isn't a positive thing, because that means companies are scrambling to create new products for people to keep buying, and the majority of these products just end up as waste in landfills. This needs to stop. Now, I'm sure I've inspired you to all go home and dismantle all of your old battered lamps to create one as cutting-edge design as mine. So I'm going to tell you how I did it. I created the base out of that tall, thick, popular grass you find dotted around Green School. Can you guess which one I'm on about? Yep, bamboo. The bamboo in question were some scraps I got from Bamboo Pure's scrapyard. Bamboo was an ideal resource for my lamp, as the middle was hollow to allow the circuitry to run through. Next, I created the lampshade. I used rattan stick to create the form, and then banana fibre to make the shade. I then coated it in bioresin to preserve the fibres. And finally, the circuit was added, and voila, you have a working lamp that is ready to go into the living bridge. I hope that this one small modest lamp inspires you to think before you act and think before you buy and act before you dispose. Because if I can do it, then you definitely can. I'd like to now say thank you to all the teachers that helped me during Quest. I'd like to say thank you to my mom for helping me with my speech, thanks to my dad for his skills in the iHub, and most importantly, I'd like to thank my inspiring mentor, Ibu Nikki, for helping me bring this project to light. To life.